I remember starting out in business. In fact, I remember one time I specifically told it to someone. I was in the radio business. I was sitting on my leather sofa in California, and I was talking to a guy late at night who was wanting to do some work for my new company. And we were getting along. And I said, you know, man, I'd like you to come and work for us. And you know what? I don't care how long you work. I don't care when you work. I don't care where you work. Just get the job done. If you're an entrepreneur, you've probably heard that before. You've quite possibly said it. In this video, I'm going to tell you why I've learned it's not as good of an idea as you think. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson, and in this video, I'm going to say something that I think a lot of people in business might find somewhat unpopular. I'm going to share my experience and why I think that this exceeding flexibility in the workplace is potentially not a great idea. Now, a number of years ago, the 4-hour work week came out. Even before that, the concept of digital nomad started being discussed, and obviously I'm in favor of that. I spend my time traveling around the world. I live in places around the world, and I've tried to help people on my teams in recent years do the same, both travel and also be able to live overseas. But what I found in the well over a decade since I first was talking to that guy in my business was that I believe I was almost genuflecting to him. I remember I was trying so hard to be agreeable because what I've learned about myself is, as a guy who gets amped up, who gets passionate, who gets excited about what I do, who has that kind of salesman's vision for things where it's like, yeah, come on, let's go. I get that going in other people, and oftentimes find that someone who wants to work for you can't quite live up to that unless they're constantly being motivated. Now, of course, your job as the business owner is to motivate your employees. And yes, of course, we want to find A players. Having A players is very important. But what I've discovered, and a lot of people talk about this now, Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this, where you're the business owner. You have to set the standard and you have to enforce the boundaries. Because you as the business owner are going to do things that the people who work for you aren't going to do. And even to take it one step further, it's not their job to be excited about getting results. It's not their job to be fired up to make you more money. Their job is to do something specific. And yes, you want them to have buy-in with what you're doing, okay? But I think what a lot of business owners do, and it may work for some people, but what a lot of business owners do is they do this thing where literally, we don't care where you are. Distributed teams now are a very big thing. And I understand that there's a lot of benefits to having a distributed team. But the challenge is if you're hiring like an office, okay, if you need someone to be doing paperwork, if you need someone doing operations, if you need someone doing a lot of different stuff that's not sales, probably not coding, web development, that kind of stuff, But if it's just kind of office stuff especially, people, in my opinion, work better in a structured environment. Because here's the reality. You see a lot of books. My friend Taylor Pearson wrote The End of Jobs. Great book. There's a lot of prophecies out there about how, in 20 years we'll all be digital nomads. No, we won't. No. Most people are never going to be a digital nomad. Most people are never going to be nomad capitalists. Why? Because most people are comfortable where they're from. Most people are comfortable having a limited paradigm and being, with all due respect, somewhat small-minded even about where to go in the world. One thing that Western people don't necessarily understand is that a lot of people around the world, they like their own people. They like having a homogenous country, right? And they don't necessarily want to go and explore. I've had people who've gone to Asia and they're like, not interested, right? So not everybody wants to go and explore the world. Not everybody wants to constantly travel. Not everybody wants to, work from a cafe. A lot of people still like the idea of the traditional office environment. Now, you can say, hey, but as it becomes more and more popular, people are going to be open-minded, and that's fine. But as the business owner, it's your responsibility to generate the buy-in from your team for them to do the work that you need them to do. And I think that, for me as an entrepreneur who's always been pretty much 24/7, much as I've tried to relax at times, much as I've tried to, take some time off, even if I'm taking time off, I'm researching the next thing for Nomad Capitalist because I have a passion for it. You're not going to expect someone you're hiring to do that. And what I've said in the past is, business partners probably aren't a great idea. I generally have not had great success. I mean, I have a business partner who's in the past who was great, but it's very hard to find one, I suppose. I know a lot of people who have issues with their business partners. So that's a hard enough thing where you're both on a level playing field. But I don't expect people who come in and work for me to do the things that I'm doing. You shouldn't expect your employees to be working until 2 in the morning. That's something that in most environments they're just not going to do. And so there is a double-edged sword to being the entrepreneur. You're taking the risk. You're responsible. You reap the rewards. Okay? And it's binary. You're either going to get the rewards or you're going to fail. But the team gets paid either way. And so the other end of that double-edged sword, in my experience, is that means because you're not motivated, to be working at 2 in the morning because you've chosen a different path, which is a respectable path, I'm going to set some boundaries and say, here's when I need the work done. Performance-based certainly works for some things. It works for sales. It works for stuff like that. But if your job is just, I need, SEO work done, then, there needs to be some structure to that, in my opinion, because, we'll just go and get 22 links. At that point, it's really more of a freelancer relationship. And what I've found is having people, in my organization that are, working and have buy-in with what we're trying to accomplish, who have a passion for what we're trying to do, is a lot more valuable. And so what's interesting these days is we get a lot of job applications from folks. One question we ask, this is a great question to ask, I think, is describe your perfect boss. What we see from a lot of 22 and 23-year-olds who don't have much, if any, job experience is, I don't want a boss. Maybe it's a manager or it's a leader, and they should just trust me to do what needs to be done. And I would like autonomy, and the best boss knows. One girl said, he knows I like ice cream. He knows all my things. What is this, a Cosmo quiz? Things I want in my boyfriend, number 53. Knows I like ice cream. If you're going to run your organization like that, you're going to set yourself up for a lot of problems where they want you at 22 years old to trust that they're just going to do the job. No, you have to set boundaries. And obviously, in any relationship in life, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whether it's at your company, there are going to be some people who won't allow boundaries to be set, and they're going to react the way that people who don't like boundaries act, with anger, and that's fine. But you have to really be in control. And so because of that, obviously you just don't want to hire that person, right? But because of that, I think it's really important to have some kind of structure for people who prefer structure. Not everyone prefers working in an airport lounge. Not everyone is able to say, you know what, I took the morning off, but I'm going to be working until 3 in the morning. It's just not the way everyone's wired. And I think we're expecting the way that people really want to be, even if they don't say it. Even if they say, work and travel, I'd love to do that. I've seen people who have worked and traveled, and it just didn't really suit them. It's tough. They got burnt out. They became less productive. And in some cases, I had to hear about it, right? And so setting those boundaries, I think, is very important.
Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus, traveling all around the world, teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6- or 7-figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.